Hi everyone, it's Em, otherwise known as Gazette Girly, and either welcome or welcome back to my channel where I mostly talk about zines, which are handmade magazines. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the zines I made throughout November and December, and it's going to be quite a short video because I only made one zine each month. I was going to share November's zine in the last video, but if you watched that video, you would have known I managed to misplace that zine because I'm the queen of losing everything all the time. And it actually turned out just to be on the stack of books on like the drawers I have in my bedroom, which I was actually using as a tripod whilst filming the last video. So it was literally right in front of me, and I spent a good few hours hunting it down in like every bag, like the cupboard I have with all my zine supplies. But you know what? She is safe, she is found, and I can share her with you guys. So let's get into it. So the zine I made in November is this one here, and this says Space and Memory. And this was made in a workshop I co-facilitated with the amazing Aditi, who has a really beautiful mindful movement practice. I am very into somatic movement. I find it super helpful, super meditative. I'm very bad at being still. I'm not someone who can just like close her eyes and like meditate like that. I have to involve movement in my meditation, and I've realized that a bit later in life, and I was like, why am I so bad at this? It's just like the being still, like close your eyes, breathe in and out. It's just not for me, and I'm very like accepting of that now. And I love somatic dance and all of that, and she's such an amazing facilitator, and I was like so excited to collaborate with her. And it's kind of like, how can we bring zine making into a mindful movement practice? So it's kind of like looking at folds as kind of like hides, and like exploring different folds within like your body, like, you know, your elbow does this. I mean, it might not, but like maybe your knee does, like just yeah, how you move, and how like also paper moves when you're making a zine, and sort of also incorporating the sort of headspace you're in when you're doing mindful movement into zine making. You're not thinking, you're just doing, you know, and it's a really good release. And that is like very much my ethos within my zine practice. Try not to overthink, just make something, and if it's terrible, you've still made something, and that's better than not making something. And yeah, this was the result. So we did like a good few hours of the movement side, and then it's kind of like compiling our feelings into the zine format. So the first page for me says release and fly. I felt like I'd released a lot of like pent up emotions, and then I also put fly. Previously I did a lot of aerial hoop. I got a really bad injury at the start of last year, so I haven't been able to do it for like the whole of last year. But I love the feeling of being up in the air. I love the idea that I can fly, even though I can't. Like, I don't know, just being able to levitate a little bit every day would be grand. And I like jumping. I like the kind of moment where you're just like in the air. I find that really fun. And then the next page, it says the joy of letting go. So kind of just like letting go of overthinking and just letting yourself do. And then I just made this really little collage to go with it. And I found this thing, and it says writing on the wall. I don't really know why I put that there. I kind of like the dripping paint texture. It's kind of like muscle release, but through paint. I like the way the paint looks like it's moving as well. And then here it says folded like flower petals. I don't know why in every zine I'm like, there's gonna be a flower, the word bloom, the word grow, the word flower, petals. I don't know, I'm a sucker for floral print too. I fuck heavy with flowers, and they just appear in my work. So yeah, if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, a flower will pop up. And we also explored this new type of folding. You have like a traditional 8-page zine fold, and usually you cut where the paper joins rather than where the paper separates when you do the folds. But to do this technique, I cut it where the paper doesn't connect. I was really bad at explaining this. I feel like I can physically show you in another video where we can like sit down and make a zine together and explore different folds. But if you do that, you can fold it in a way where you get like an extra hidden pocket. So you have all the standard 8 pages, but then at the back you get this whole extra page. And I discovered this because I was like cutting a standard 8-page fold zine, fucked it up, and was like, oh wait, I've actually just done a different type of fold. This zine is still fully functional and intact and still works. So in here I put embrace the physical. and that is the zine I made in November. Now the zine I made in December is this one here, and is turning 28 by celebrating 27. So my birthday's Christmas Eve, and somehow I've made it to 28 years old, and I've been kind of tweaking out a bit, thinking that I was 18 like 10 years ago, because where has time gone? And also, like, I'm starting uni 10 years ago. I'm still friends with some of like my old uni friends. It's like, damn, we've really known each other for like around 9-10 years now. And last year I also did a zine like this where I turned 27. I wanted to reflect on what I did at 26, and I was like, you know what, let's keep the tradition. Like, I hosted my first ever zine workshops, I did a bunch of zine fairs for the first time. The Rage issue for Gazette for the Girls had like the most amount of submissions ever, and like the post had a really high amount of engagement on Instagram too, like in a way I didn't expect. This was literally just like an idea I had at the end of 2024, and then it just like randomly became this quite big unexpected project, which was like a really lovely surprise. And also the play issue will be in print very soon, so I will be announcing that on my Instagram. But yeah, Gazette for the Girls just kind of went better than I expected it to, and I was just, yeah, just everyone sending in their work, I was like amazed. It was so good. And then also I learned the omnichord, and I ended up just going on this completely unexpected side quest of basically doing spoken word meets omnichord, which I never expected to do. And then I finished my apprenticeship in September last year. I was working at a dance theatre, and I was doing a marketing apprenticeship with them, and I got all distinctions, even though during like my endpoint assessment you had to do like a presentation and then like a 1,500 word essay, and I dropped out of uni twice, though this is college level so it was a little easier. I was like, I fucked this, because there was like an interview and then you had to present to someone. It was like an examiner online, and I was really nervous, but I came away, was like, I've tanked this, I'm gonna have to resit. And then I got like distinctions and really good feedback, so that was a really nice surprise. And sometimes I'm very much in the headspace of like, I'll think of the worst outcome, so then it is a genuine nice surprise when it's a good outcome, but I don't know if that's a healthy thing to do. And also I found a letter that I wrote to myself at the start of uni, and I literally like don't remember 18-year-old me like really doing much poetry or spoken word, but I wrote in there like, hopefully you're just doing poetry and spoken word. So it's wild to think 10 years ago I've achieved past me's goals, like completely unintentionally. I was just unemployed, depressed, and was like, an omnichord will heal things, and it did. So then at the end of this I wrote Hello 28, so that is December's zine along with some tangent. So that is the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching.